we're going to get started here. I want to welcome everybody to our
That's right.
safe and, excuse me, to our safe and productive webinar, talking about working from home and how to use Office 365 to enable collaboration and working as a team. If you would, if you're not asking a question or talking, if you could just click on the little microphone icon on the bar at the bottom of the screen. That way there won't be any ambient noise that might interfere with our presentation as we go forward. Okay, so we all know we're here because of the coronavirus, and it has now been, I think, 7 weeks of kind of being sequestered in our home. It's been challenging for some of us, I know. Fortunately, On Technology Partners has been a virtual company for the last 28 years, so we have been working out of our houses for the most part the entire time. And it has helped us to understand some of the challenges that you face when you work from home. So I know knowing when to stop working, knowing when to start working, how to differentiate between your work day and your home day, how to get to your team members. We're going to kind of talk about all of those things as we go through this, because it does get hard. Your days start to blend together. You don't know what's a weekend and what's a work day. It gets very tiresome, and you can feel an exhaustion level and a disengagement level. So the first thing I want to talk about are some of the challenges from working from home that many of you have probably already experienced, or if not, luckily. So the first one is, how are you able to share? How can you get out there and get the files you need with people? How do you work together on files and projects and programs? The next one is, how do you stay engaged? It becomes easy to get unfocused while you're in the house. It's hard to get your team together maybe. And how do you do that? How do you take advantage of the tools that are there to keep everybody engaged and moving forward in the same direction? Because as you're absent for long periods of time, it becomes harder to know what everybody's doing. And staying focused, how do you break down your day? How do you not over-focus? That's actually been a complaint I've gotten over the last couple of weeks. Are people feel like they never stop working. There's never an end to their day. And that can be a real problem, and it can really drain you. And then staying connected. How do you know what other people on your team are doing? How do you know how to keep everybody on your team moving in the same direction? So I want to start by talking about some of the tips that I've learned from working at home for almost 3 decades, and some of the things I have dealt with. So the first thing that I found is you want to find that space that is your workspace. You want to be able to have kind of segmented off. I know people that will go and sit at the dining room table and work from there. It might be a little harder to tell when you're working and when you're away from work by doing that. This gives very strong delineations so that you don't have as much trouble turning your mind off at the end of the day. This is a big one. Take breaks. If you're into something and you work for 8 straight hours, you're going to be more exhausted than if you went to an office for 8 hours in a day. Because at an office, most of us will take breaks without even thinking about it. Somebody will walk in, we'll start talking to them, we'll engage in something else. You don't have that at home. Nobody's probably walking in, or we'll talk about if people are walking in, but you don't have those kind of natural breaks that happen. You have to make those breaks. And then you need to make sure you let your family know that you're working. I had 2 young kids when we started everything, and they wanted my attention when I was home. They didn't understand the difference between working at home and being at home for them. So you need to set those boundaries. If you can actually go to a room that has a closed door, that helps you to isolate out. But you need to make sure everybody understands you can't do the honey-do list while you're working, but those are great ways to set kind of breaks, because you say, okay, I will get to it in 45 minutes. You set a timer for 45 minutes, you work for 45 minutes, you go do some of those honey-do items, then you come back. Again, trying to mix that home and work environment, but having them separated. The other thing that I find very helpful is I make a plan for the day, and I use the rule of 3. I try to have 3 things that I want to get accomplished. So doing this webinar today is one of my 3 things. By doing just 3, you can feel successful. One of the things my wife loves to do is have long lists, but the problem is at the end of the day, she still has most of her list left. And so there's a sense of not being able to accomplish anything. Using a shorter list, predefined, 3 items, you will feel successful more often than you'll feel like you've not achieved. This is something that I think people are having a harder and harder time with. You've got to pick a time when you stop. At 6 o'clock at night, I stop working for the day, because otherwise I find myself working all day long and then all evening and then all day the next day. It never ends and it's exhausting. And I wanted to share a little trick that I use. I'll use laundry as kind of a timer for me. So I'll go down, I'll put in a load of laundry. It'll take about 45 minutes for that load. I'll come up, I'll see how much work I can get done while that load of laundry is running. So it's kind of naturally giving me that break system that helps keep everything moving forward instead of trying to remember to take breaks. Now I'm doing something. I was just talking with somebody this morning at a BNI group, and one of their things was they would sweep the floor, and then they would sweep another room, and they'd do every room in the house, and that would take about 15 minutes each time, and they'd break up their day with that. So you can use tasks to kind of break up and do those breaks that you would normally get in the office. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how you can use Office 365 to meet some of those things. How do you use it to share? How do you use it to engage? How do you use it to collaborate? So we're going to talk about 2 primary areas today that I think you'll find valuable. The first one is file sharing. We're going to talk about OneDrive and SharePoint and how you can share files, how you can work as a team, and how you can recover lost and history files. Then we'll talk about how you can collaborate through Microsoft Teams. We have chat, we have video conferencing, which is what we're doing right here, and we have Teams groups, which I'll explain. So we're first going to go into OneDrive and SharePoint. The big difference between OneDrive and SharePoint is the space that your groups will use to put files, and OneDrive is where you keep your personal files. So first, if you do have Office 365, you just need to type in office.com, put in your email address and password, and it brings you into your main page. You then just click on OneDrive and it'll take you into your OneDrive. And now I'm actually going to take you and show you my OneDrive. So this is my actual OneDrive. It's synchronized both my desktop, my laptop, my tablet, and my iPhone. So I actually had a friend who does human resources for lawyers, and she was in Hawaii, and she needed to get a document over to a lawyer. And we all know lawyers are notoriously not tolerant of delay. She was able to go onto her OneDrive because we set it up so that her My Documents and her desktop synchronized to her OneDrive, and she was able to get the file, open it up, and email it over to him so that he could do what he needed to do. Never got onto her laptop. So I am going to ask, how many of you have ever put files on your desktop and then either lost your computer, your hard drive crashed, and you end up losing those files? By using OneDrive and setting it up, I now have all of my files synchronized with the cloud. So you see here, let's see if I can pull this off. Come on, be good. Oh, it's not going to go. But all of my desktop files are shared here. I also have my PC desktop files. So I can get to all of my documents anywhere I am. If I lose my laptop, I still can get to all of my documents off the cloud. And that's one thing I want to come over here and show you. This is my OneDrive on the cloud. All of the files are here. So if I click back here, you'll see, of course it's going a little slow. There is my desktop for my laptop. And if I go in here, all of those files are again there. Everything from my desktop is shown up right here. So it's very easy, and I'm going to show you how to synchronize a library, but all you need to do is just go into your OneDrive and click on that sync button, and this is on Mac or PC, and it'll ask you to download the application, and then it'll synchronize your files. And I can even, so if I go in here, and I come back out, I'm going to just put in a file right here for you. So I'm going to make a new file. I'm going to make a Word document. Actually, I'll open up the Word app. When you do that, your files will synchronize. So what I want to do here is I want to talk about what these little icons also mean, because they're really nice. So you notice that this ACAR SP has a little cloud, but this always local has a little checkbox. What that means is if it shows it as a cloud, it's all stored in the cloud, so it doesn't take up space on your hard drive. So if you do have a Windows tablet, like I have a Surface, I don't have that big of a hard drive. You get a terabyte of hard drive space with OneDrive. So I don't want all the files from OneDrive being on my tablet. This is telling me that most of my files are actually stored up in the cloud. When you see it's like this, it means it's synchronizing something. But let's say that I want to make sure that my BNI Wheel of Sorrow is always local. All I need to do is right-click on it and then go to Always Keep on this device. Now you notice that the checkbox changed to a solid green with a white check in it. That means every single time it'll be on my computer. So if I'm going to be going to the airport and I don't think I'm going to have internet access, I will go through and pick the files that I need to make sure I have so that I can work on them. And then as soon as you do hook back up to the internet, it'll automatically synchronize. So if I was done with this, if I didn't need that file anymore, I can actually go in here and click on Free Up Space, and it's then going to move that off to the cloud. So I'm not using up space by having this here. So if you have big video files or you have large PDFs, you can have those only stored on the cloud and only bring them down when you need them. So this is a great way to be able to keep files on your hard drive when you need them, but not waste space that you don't need to waste. And then I want to show you another really neat feature here, and this is the history. So I need to find desktops. Looking, here we go, documents. So I'm going to pull up a file I know has history to it. So this is really useful if you guys are working on documents in your teams together and somebody comes in and makes an edit, but you want to go back. Another time that I use this is I will use a document. So if I'm creating a quote, I'll open up an old quote and then I'll put in all the new information. Well, sometimes I'll forget to do a save as, and I'll just do a save and I'll overwrite all of that information. And that becomes a bigger problem these days because it auto saves for you because it's trying to help you out. So I'm going to go here to this March stock pricing. I'm going to click on the 3 ellipses. So it brings up all these options. And this option is version history. So I can go back from when it was created till now and restore any one of these. So this lets you back up changes, and it keeps a ton of different changes that you've done. So if you're working as a group and you make changes to your document, you can go through and adjust and edit those changes, pull back up the old change, and put it back the way it was. So if somebody goes in and changes the document, you can use this to get them back. The other thing you can do is you can share documents. So let's say, for example, I want to send this document to a customer of mine. So I can send this it's a link. It'll keep it actually on mine. And we actually use this when we do our BNIs so that the presenter each week can put their documents into the PowerPoint. But you can actually change how people work with this. So you can set it to specific people so that the person has to log in with a Microsoft account. Microsoft accounts are free, they can sign up, but it requires them to log in. If you leave it to anyone that has the link, the danger with that is if they email it off, they can just take that link and give it to anyone, they can read it. But you can restrict that they cannot edit it, they can't make changes to it, they can only read it. You can stop it from being downloadable. You can set a password. And you can set an expiration date, which means that at that date, it'll no longer be shared. So you can use all of these different features to protect your documents. So you can stop them from editing, you can stop them from downloading, you can put a password on it, and you can make it expire. So all of these gives you the power to control who is able to get to the documents when you share them. And then you just click on send and they'll get an email that says, here's the link to the document, and then they can go and edit and work on the document. So that is the basics of OneDrive, and SharePoint works similarly. We're going to look at some SharePoint here when we get into the Teams app. Are there any questions before I move on to Teams and collaboration?
Nothing.
Okay, then let's jump back over to our wonderful little PowerPoint presentation. Oh, by the way, when you do have, and it's all the way down to the Microsoft Essentials, which is $5 a month, you can see all the different applications you get. And we'll talk about some of them later on. So again, I want to mention, you can synchronize with anyone, your PC, your Mac, anything. Okay, now we're going to talk about how to collaborate using Microsoft Office and through their Microsoft Teams. Again, to get to Teams, you just type office.com, log in, and then you just pick the Teams icon. So we're going to talk about three primary areas in Teams. We're going to talk about how to use it to do chats. Chats are wonderful. They let you have a quick way to talk with your team. I know we used to use email to do the same thing. And the problem with email is I get somewhere around 250 emails a day. I don't always get to go through all of them, so it could be a couple of days delayed. Where with chat, I get the information instantly. I get it on my phone, I get it on my computer, again, across my entire tandem of things. We're going to actually talk about Teams and where the Teams collaboration, and we'll talk about some of the ways you can work together with your team and some of the tools you get that let you be more productive. And then we're going to talk about how you can set up a video conferencing, do an instant conference, and work with your teams and some of the things we do. Oh. Free later. So let's go back. Oops. Here. So now this is your Teams environment. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here. So here's an example. We have several different chats. This is our actual company live chat. So we have a tech chat, an editor team chat, an LED hours project chat. You can make a chat very easily. You just click on chat, right click, and replace. So here I'm going to remove those people. So I've added Lucy. Mike and Willie. Now I'm going to give this an actual chat name. So this is going to be. So now, just like this tech chat and this edit chat, I created a little group that the four of us are in and can now chat on a related item. And then the nice thing is you can actually filter. So we know I have tech chat out there. No, I have LED chat. So if you can't find a chat, you can search it by typing in up there. So it's a really quick way to talk with the group. So tech group. Oh, I don't know what that did. And that's all it takes to be able to work and chat together. So it's a very fast way. Michael responded to us. This lets us be able to work quickly together. I can do this on the phone. There's a lot of times when my team will do a quick chat with me so that I know what they're doing, and more importantly, they know what I'm doing. And we can stay on top of things. Like we're working on, you can see the new planner app is coming out in mid-July. He's making sure that we know that's coming so we can let all of our customers know. Now I want to talk about Teams. This is a phenomenal environment where you can actually work on different projects. Excuse me. No, not Corona. First, let me show you how to create a team. So you come down here into the lower left and you click on Join or Create Team. So if you have a team code or if there's a public team out there, you can just click on it to join. I'll show you when we create it how to create those two different types of things. So you click on Create Team. If you have a template for a team, you can use that, or we're going to build it from scratch. So you have three options. You have organization-wide, which will take every person in your Microsoft Office organization and give them access. So our On Technology Partners that you see there is built that way. So anytime we add a new employee, they're automatically going to be part of On Technology Partners. You can have a public team, which means not everybody is in it, but anybody can ask to join it. And then you can have a private team, which means that you have to give permissions for them to join. And that's what we're going to build today. So this is Wonderful Wednesday team. And we're going to create that. So what that does is it's going to create an entire environment for this team. And then I can add people. Right to the group right here. And I can also decide if they're a member. A member means that they can edit documents, they can add items, but they cannot control the people. An owner can actually let people in or out of the group. So I'm going to close this and you're going to see now, here's this Wonderful Wednesday group. You notice that it automatically gave me this chat section. So a team automatically comes with the ability to do chats. And then it kind of gives you updates on what's happening. So Michael was added and Lucy was added. I'm also going to go over, this is where SharePoint comes in. So it automatically creates this group folder where all of you can share documents. So just like that. And now what I want to show you is, you see how it has that sync button? If I come back over to here, you'll notice that I do not have that Wonderful Wednesday chat team here. But if I go back, and you're going to see how quick and easy it is, if I click on this sync, it's going to go and authorize that. And then if everything worked the way it should, there, that folder is now synchronized with my computer. And if I put documents into here, so let's grab something to copy in there. We're going to go down here to documents. We're going to grab this dentist list. And we're going to copy it here. You notice now this dentist list is synchronizing with the cloud. When this is done, it is going to show up in here. It can take a few seconds. The internet's a little slow right now, so we'll come back and you'll see that. I don't want to, Wiki is a place to have longer conversations if you need them. But the thing that I've been showing people because they've absolutely loved it is this Microsoft Planner. So all you have to do to add a planner is click on this plus button and then click on Planner. We're going to create a new planner. We're going to save it. And what this does is it lets you create projects and tasks. So we can come up here name the project, and then you can enter the task. And you can assign people, and because it's a team, you get to assign from that team. So I'm going to assign Lucy to do this. I'm going to set the date that it needs to be done as Friday. I'm going to add the task. Then I can go in here and I can add checklist items. Okay, for some reason it's not going down, so we'll do it this way. So, eat a good meal. So now we have a list of items to complete this task, and you can even have it show those items right here on the thing. We can set a start date, so we'll set this for yesterday. It should have started. We aren't going to mark it as started because what this does when we do all this is that it will send emails related to this. So when a due date is coming, if it passes, you'll get an email that it passed. If you have a start date and you haven't shown it as started, you'll get an email that it needs to start. You can add multiple people to a task. So we can come up here and we can add Michael to this task. So you're able to create these tasks and then keep adding people to it. And then you can also keep creating projects. So this gives you a great way to build task lists. And as you finish a task, you can just come here and click on it to close it. And then it's already gone and completed. Or you can go in and mark it as completed. So it's a great, very straightforward project manager that everybody gets with most of your Microsoft Office packages. And then let's see if this has been good and updated. There. So you see now that's synchronized. And one of the wonderful features of Office 365 is if I were to open this and Michael to open this at the same time, we could both be editing that dentist list. If it's a Word document, you can both be editing. So we do that a lot when we'll do a proposal or a presentation. We'll work on it together while we're each in it, and we can make changes and make adjustments, and we can see what the other person is doing. It makes it much faster to get through some of these projects. Oh, looks like we got a chat. So right there, this webinar has a chat assigned to it. So you can see people asking questions. Michael is doing a wonderful job of answering them. So it gives you great ways to see what's happening and interact with your team. So now I want to show you a couple of quick things on how you manage a team. So you hit on the ellipses. And you can add and remove members by just clicking on that. So again, you can start typing people's names to keep adding them. You can also delete a team. And this is something that I want to make sure I am very cautious for you. If you delete a team, and I'm going to click on this, it'll show you. It deletes everything. So you want to make sure when you delete a team, you want that team to go away. And one of the other things that we offer are backup solutions that will back up your teams so that you don't lose anything, even if somebody accidentally deletes. And you do have to be an owner to be allowed to delete teams. But if you give somebody owner's right and they click on this, and then they click on delete, it wipes it out. It's gone. All these files are gone. All these posts go away. Everything is gone. So please be careful when you do a delete that you know you want to delete. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is how Office 365 synchronizes, and then how you use it to do meetings and schedule meetings, and then how we'll go over how you interact within Teams meetings to see how you can change your backgrounds, work with people, kick people out, all of that fun stuff. So, whoops, yes, this is what I wanted. What I wanted to show you was, this is my Outlook. So I'm in Microsoft Outlook, but if you look and you look at this calendar, everything is synchronized. So I've got a double workout here on Tuesday. If I scroll down far enough, you'll see I have a double workout here on Tuesday. So if I put in an item in here, so I'm going to put Friday. I'm going to make a Teams meeting on Friday. So this is to show team meeting in Outlook. And then I'm going to have Michael and Lucy be parts of this. So it automatically adds the join Teams meeting. You have to buy an extra add-in if you want to have the phone number. That's an additional $5 a month. But you don't need the phone number. You can use the computer voice and video for most of it. But if you do need numbers, you can get that as an addition. But that's it. You click send. And now you'll see that shows up here. But the next thing that I'm going to show you is, if this is synchronized, that it will also, in a few minutes because the internet is slow, but you'll see that it'll also show up on here in a minute or two. So now I'm going to take a quick second. You have two different types of meetings you can do. You can do a scheduled meeting, or if you have the enterprise version of Office 365, you can do a live event. We're not going to talk about live events today, but that does let you have up to 10,000 attendees. They cannot speak. They get to see the video, but they can't be on the video. But if you do have a really large venue event that you need to do, you can do it as a live event. But we're going to talk about scheduling, and then we'll talk about what Meet Now is for and how that works. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to just schedule a quick meeting. And I'm going to make Lucy get lots of emails, because every time you do this, it will automatically send out an email and let everybody know. So we are going to pick a day. Let's pick tomorrow at 1 p.m. till 1:30. You can set it to repeat. You can actually go in here, and so we have all of these different channels. So if I really wanted to, I could add the Wonderful Wednesday team, and it would send it out to everybody on that team. So it's a quick way to do a team meeting to an entire group or team. And then I'm just going to click on send. So there is the meeting that I had shown you on my calendar. So I made it in Outlook. Now I just made the same thing here in Teams. And if I go back to my calendar, it will show up in my calendar. So you notice everything is synchronized. You don't have to worry about setting your calendar, making sure it stays synced. It's going to take care of all of that for you. So now I'm going to show you how to cancel these meetings, because I know that they don't want to try and have any more meetings than they need to have during this time. So I'm going to cancel this meeting. And you notice it's very easy. I could click on join here, and it would join me to the meeting when it's time. Now, if I clicked on that now, it would actually kick me out of this meeting and take me over to that meeting, so I don't want to do that. But that's how you can just go into your calendar, either click on the link or click on this join if it's in Teams. And then we just cancel that meeting. So the other choice is, if you want to do a really quick impromptu meeting, you can just click on Meet Now. It'll make an instant meeting, and then we'll talk about, and I'll show you how you can invite people. We're actually in Teams, so let me go back there. So what you can do is, if you show participants, it lets you come up here and invite. So you can type an email address of somebody that you'd like to invite. Now, if you are inviting someone who's not in your group, you do have to activate allow guests, and we can talk about how to do that, but not in this presentation. Reach out to us and we'll tell you how to do it. But you can go in, and so if I wanted to invite Michael or Lucy, who are both in this meeting, apparently she doesn't exist, I could do that, and then it would actually try to call them. So if you have the app on your phone, you get a notification on your phone, it'll pop up on the computer, but you will actually get notified that somebody is trying to have a meeting with you. So if you want to do a quick meeting, and again, you can do this with your phone, so it's kind of like a FaceTime type of chat thing that you can do immediately. Okay, let's talk about some of these other buttons down here. So I'm sure all of you have found, looks like you've all found how to mute. You can turn off your camera. So I'm going to vanish here for a second. And then I'm back. Hopefully, there I am. You can share your screen. So that's what we're doing. When you do share your screen, you get to pick different options. I was just talking with somebody today, and they had shared their screen, but they had only shared the PowerPoint, but they wanted to show pictures. And so that's an important thing to remember, is pick the right application if you share your screen. If you want to share everything, make sure you pick desktop. Then over here, there are additional options and features. You can pick your device. So if you have multiple cameras or multiple microphones, I know some people buy a better microphone than what comes on the laptop. You can use this to pick that. I don't think I only have a PC mic, but you could have, if you had more, you could be picking what you go with. This is a nice one. I have on an effect. I'm going to turn it off. So I'd like to show back here, you see I have Dino Bunny. Originally, and this is only 3 weeks ago, the only choice you had was to blur your background. And this is what a blurred background would look like. So it was really nice if you had documentation that you didn't want people to see, like on my board behind me, you could do that to hide it. This also would protect against some of the things people have seen with Zoom, where somebody walks in and forgets to have their pants on, or worse. So it's nice, but now they've given you the option of adding, so I can pretend like I have a nicer house than I do. Look at this, it's a beautiful country home with a lot of space. So you get lots of different pictures, lots of different options that you can now choose from, and there are even ways to add your own. So I want to have a city. Now it looks like I'm living in the city. And then again, one of the nice things about it is it keeps what's behind you hidden. So if you don't want the world to see, and lots of people are doing Zoom meetings, you do want to make sure you're aware of what you're showing. This is a great way to kind of hide that back from you. And it really is nice. One of the nice things that you can do with Microsoft that like Zoom doesn't do is, Zoom, when I put my hand up here, by here it would have vanished and it would look like my arm was cut off. Microsoft is really good about how your image is maintained. And now I'm back to just having my little Dino Bunny. Okay, this live caption is kind of neat. It will try, similar to how Siri will do voice recognition, it will try to guess what you're saying and then type it out. So if you do have somebody that is deaf, You can use this to make sure that they can read what's being said. It's not perfect, but it is nice. Then, of course, you have record and stop recording. All of this goes over to the Microsoft streams, and you can download it, and we'll actually send you a copy of this presentation at the end of this so that you can see it. Now, then you also have the ability to manage the participants. So here I can go in and I can mute everybody in case you need to keep everybody quiet during your presentation. You can also go in and you can remove a person, or you can make them an attendee instead of a participant. An attendee can't do anything but just be an attendee and see what's going on. So very quick, easy ways to manage your meetings. So let's, well, so now I want to just jump back over here to this calendar quick. So that's how you use the Meet now as well. So any questions on Microsoft Teams? You can just type your questions or you can unmute yourself. Okay, then we are going to go on. Microsoft is actually offering Teams for free. I'll be honest with you, it's a very limited version. You cannot schedule meetings. You can only do impromptu meetings. You don't have SharePoint. You don't have, so a lot of the features that I showed you, you won't get. It really is a very low-end video conferencing package. So we do have a 30-day free trial if you wanted to try the full Office 365, and the entry-level pricing is $5 a month, so it's not that expensive per user to start using Microsoft. And that includes email, that includes web apps of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Teams, and Planner, and everything that we showed you. Okay. Every Wednesday, oops, I forgot to update that. Nobody sees that, it says April 15th. Every Wednesday, we are doing a Teams training to help people during this time. So you can come and go through this again if you'd like. I've had several people that have gone through it a couple of times just to get all the little nuances. You can just go off to our website and sign up, and we'll have it again on, I think it's the 6th of next week. So we'll do it again on the 6th, and we'll just keep doing it until people don't have to work from home. I have a feeling as we go forward, more and more people are going to want to work from home after this, because it is freeing in a lot of ways. If you'd like a private training, let us know. We can do this for your team, and we can specialize it to what you need to do. We can dig in deeper on how to use the actual team group, working with Planner, working together on setting up sessions. So if you do need some personalized training, let us know. We can work with you on that. We also have a small smart VPN, which is a very cost-effective way to be able to remote into your house or your office and be able to get remote access. So if you have any interest, let us know. And then I tell everybody this, and I actually have decided that I wanted to show everybody why you want to be careful. So there's a couple different videos that I had found, but I'm going to share this one, and you can see why you want to be careful what you do on screen. So this guy decided he didn't need pants, and all of his teammates figured it out. So they're all trying to stop him. So you can see how important it is that you are very careful with what you do on screen. I had another video where a woman brought the actual laptop in with her to the bathroom. I decided I wasn't going to show that one, but people do lots of strange things.
There's a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's a question. let me go see what that question is. Give me 1 second here. Back here. Whoop. Okay. What are channels? Okay. So channels are effectively subgroups within a group. So let's say you have your marketing department and you make a marketing department here. You might have social media advertising as one item. Then you can make another channel. And so we have social media. Then we'll add that channel here. Now maybe we want to make another channel that is print media. Oh, that was adding members. So I want to come back up here and I want to add a channel. So what you use channels for are kind of subgroups within a group. So if you have a large organization and you have large big groups, you can make subgroups, subcommittees as it were, and then you can go in and you can actually, each one of them then comes with their own files, their own post. Then you can manage the channel. So it gives you a way to break down individual projects or tasks underneath a team. Does that answer your question? So you can use this, you can have here, you can even add a planner just to this section. The planner is. So this is a way to have sub-projects underneath a large team. And then you can add and remove channels as you go along. Okay, oh, maybe we have another question. Okay, let me go over here. I always am starting to tell people, take some time to do something fun, especially as we get further along in this kind of stuck at home. And I think we're going to be home for a while. Even if you go out, it'll be limited. So do some fun things. I know on our Facebook page, I've been posting these little Dino Bunny journeys. She is out, she is skydiving, she is flying, she is taking roller coasters. It's just something fun to do. So find something fun to help keep you engaged with the people around you and keep active.